Morning, everybody.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Rene. Good to see you. Hi, Tammy. Good to see
Morning,
you.
Carol.
You know, and
Morning,
we
Rene.
Good
and we
morning,
want to
girls.
we want to say hi to our YouTube audience and thank them for
Hello.
joining us in the sacred energy of Circle this morning. And today you're going to be able to watch our evidential mediums as they connect with people who have crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those people. And our hope is that by watching our mediums at work, you'll come to understand that the loved ones that you may have lost are in fact still with you. So please join us as we open with prayer. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive your messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make this circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen.
Yeah.
All right, and we only have 3 of us today, so I am not going to bother setting up a timer. And whenever anybody gets a link, just hop on in there, okay?
I can start us.
Oh,
I'm
thanks,
being
Rainey. Go ahead.
shown a golden nugget, and this has reference to do with Vegas or Reno. And that's all they're showing me right now. Would either of you girls understand Vegas and golden nugget or?
I've been to Vegas, and I'm aware there is a casino called the Golden Nugget.
Oh, there is one?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, wow. Okay, they're like golden nugget. Like, um, you have visited this place with someone other than your husband, like maybe a coworker or a boss, something like that that has passed?
Yeah, no,
No? Okay.
no.
Because it seems like I have a mail here that's talking about Vegas. Let me see where he's going with this. Because I know it couldn't be your husband. Um, I'm also hearing the name Jack. Does Jack mean anything to you? You have a
Uh,
Jack in spirit?
I know several Jacks,
Okay. Is one in spirit by chance?
several in spirit.
Okay. I think this may have something to do with him. Let me see where, because
Okay.
he's like, "Oh, it's Jack." I'm like, okay, Jack. Um, he showed me like standing behind somebody, looking over their shoulder, trying to help them. I feel like this is work related, like he's trying to help them understand something. He was very kind, he was very understanding. Um, would you understand a Jack like this?
Yes.
Okay. At one time, did he possibly have a mustache?
I didn't know him to have a mustache, but I only knew him for a certain period of
Okay,
time.
okay. Because it looked like as he was looking over this person's shoulder, he had a small mustache. Um, he's also showing me that he traveled. He's also showing me waterways, water that he traveled.
That would probably make sense.
Okay. Um, I feel as hard of a worker that he was, an indoor, he loved to be outside. He loved to be around water. I'm also hearing like water skiing with him too. I don't know if you would understand or know that about him, but it's
I
talking
don't
about.
I don't know about water skiing, but I do
Okay,
understand the water.
okay,
Yes.
okay. Um, He's also given me significance to the month of September. And that could be for him or for you.
I don't know.
Okay. He's going back to Vegas and he's showing me at a table with dice and rolling dice. Part of that is his message too about taking chances in life. He's showing the dice being rolled and you never know what numbers are going to come up. He said kind of like life. You just got to take it for what it gives you and roll with it. He's just talking about your life being very busy. And he's saying just roll with it. Because I know some days are frustrating, but just roll with it. He's showing me just like a tour going through these casinos, like with the slot machines, and he's just talking about having fun. Go out and have fun, and you know, don't worry about tomorrow. He said, just have fun today. Play it for all it's worth. Now I'll leave that with love and light and thank him for coming in.
Thank you, Rene.
You're welcome.
I think that deserves some hearts. So I'll send them up. So thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. So the Golden Nugget Casino. Okay, my husband and I don't gamble at all, but Las Vegas is such a fun place to go that and there's so much to do there that we like to go. And
Uh-huh.
I do know that there is a Golden Nugget Casino in Las Vegas, but
Wow.
I've never been there. Okay, because
Wow.
I just
Awesome.
don't go
Well,
there.
maybe he wants you to go there because he brought up specific
Well,
Golden Nugget.
I think he was just talking about the fun aspect of it
Oh,
because
cool.
the reason is that my husband and I don't gamble. Okay, we just go to Las Vegas for all the other things to do because it is such a fun place to be in. Okay, so that is why I think he is bringing in like Las Vegas more than the Golden Nugget Casino. But this was a gentleman that I worked with, and I have to pat you on the back because this goes back 40 years. 40
Wow.
years. Okay. And
Wow.
like you said, he would have been leaning over my shoulder, looking at what I was doing, this kind of thing. The traveling on the waterway is significant because we actually, at that company that I worked for, we had a client outing on the Gateway Clipper, which for the
Oh.
people who aren't local to us, that's an excursion boat. Okay, that fits like 300 people, and we took 300 clients on this boat for a ride down the river. Okay. But then the message, that he says, have fun, that just goes back to, you know, um, the introduction there, where he was talking about the golden nugget and being in a place that I regard as being very fun.
Oh.
So that was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
And but I forgot to tell you too, that's a first timer. He's never come in before.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. And is his
Okay.
name Jack?
Yeah,
Or
and his name was Jack. Yes. Okay.
wow.
So and that's what I wanted to talk about here actually, because this was kind of interesting for the benefit of our YouTube audience. I think a lot of people who are getting mediumship readings when they look at their universe in spirit, okay, they tend to think of like mom and dad, grandpa, grandma, okay, and this kind of thing. And this is a great example that shows you how everybody you have ever come into contact with in your life can turn up in this environment. And this is why you really have to be open minded, okay,
Mhm.
about the information that is being given to you when a medium is talking to you, okay. And now, going back to what Rene was talking about, and originally the Golden Nugget Casino, that could have been anybody who was saying that, okay? And then, she was talking about the man leaning over my shoulder. That could have been more than one person. But the two pieces of information that narrowed it down specifically for me was traveling on the waterway. Okay, that client excursion that we put together. Okay, and the name Jack, and that's how I knew it was that man. Okay, so I want to go back to Rene and ask the question about the name. Like, how did that name come to you? Can you speak on that to
Yeah.
our YouTube
Um,
audience?
when you had said, "Oh, I know a few people like that," and then I heard him say, "Tell her it's Jack." So I clearly heard it's Jack.
Okay, all right. So you heard it in your ear
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Okay, all right. And talking to our YouTube audience, there's different ways that mediums get information, and one is by hearing it, some is by seeing it, some of it is just by knowing it. Okay, and so in this case, Renee in her ear heard the name Jack. But now I'm going to toss that out to Tammy and ask you the same question, Tammy. When you get like names from people, how does that information come in for you?
I would say most of the time it kind of drops in. It drops in kind of telepathically. It's as though they're putting that idea in my mind. Sometimes I've seen like a letter drawn or I can almost that's interesting what you said about kind of feeling it clairsentiently or
Mhm.
because that has, I guess, happened where it's like I feel like they're trying to get me to say like a part of it. So I'll feel like Um, yeah, for example, like yeah, like Sonia or something. And they're trying to almost put it in my mouth to say it.
Mhm.
And so, but I would say most of the time it just kind of drops in and it can drop in the beginning, or sometimes as I'm going along, then I'll just hear it drop in. Like recently, that reading. I can't remember who it was for, and her name was Dottie. And it wasn't until almost the very end, it was like, oh, she just said, it's Dottie. And then she knew, I know who it is. So yeah, it just kind of drops in and you kind of have to trust it or just say it. If it's wrong, well, whatever. But to honor it
Okay.
if they're saying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw something that out completely differently. Okay. When I like first meet the spirit, I introduce myself. I say, I'm Carol. Who are you?
oh, that's a good way.
And a
Nice.
lot of times a name will come down for me that way. And
Mhm.
then when that happens, I hear it in my ear as well. Okay. So I'm more in Renee's camp most of the time. But the point is that there are other ways of getting that information, as Tammy pointed out.
Mhm.
So that's
Oh,
good. Do we have any other tips for getting names? Mediumship reading? Anybody think of anything else they want to throw in here?
Oh, I can think of a really, really big one, but it takes
Oh,
takes time
yeah, go ahead. Run
and
with
then
it.
putting it out to the universe. Because if we are indeed creating our own reality, you just have to start asking the universe, I want names, please. Names, please. Names, please. And then,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
So you're talking about manifesting,
yeah,
so kind of. Okay.
yeah.
So explain that process to our YouTube audience. Like when you say put it out to the universe, at what point do you do that? Like, is that part of the meditation
Yeah,
or what?
I would say it can either be a daily mantra, this is what, universe, this is what I want. This is and think in terms of you already have it. It's already happening. Some people write it, they'll write it out every day, whatever their mantra is. It can be for anything, you want anything you might want and just, write it out, act like you already have it. Don't say I want this, say thank you for thank you. I'm enjoying that it's been given to me, something that's already present tense, that it's already happening. And the other thing is, I think, quite frankly, because we all work in this group on a regular basis, I do think that somehow there's a power that's created, because I know this happens in trance groups, when they sit with a trance circle for, years. They can sit for 15, 20 years. And the power, in that group increases, as a group. And I really think, because I think more and more of us are getting names in our group, and I think it's this collective power meeting on a regular basis that is helping to bring it in some way. I don't know how, but I've been thinking about that a lot lately. So,
And Tammy's bringing up a good point here too. You used the word regular basis, and I am a big advocate of that. And that's why, first of all, we have this broadcast every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, we do it on a regular basis. And when Spirit can count on you to show up at a certain point in time, then they will really back you up, okay, and start to work with you more, other than just kind of like randomly coming in. Oh, I'm not feeling it today, or maybe today at 2, but 2 doesn't work, so I'll show up at 4:30. They get tired of that stuff. Okay, make an appointment with them and show up for the appointment, and you will be amazed at how Spirit has your back. Okay, and that has been my experience.
Yeah, I think with meditation too, even if you just can only really if there's some reason that you're only able to do it once a week, same day, same time,
Every day.
if you can do it 2 times a week, same time, same days, try to keep it the same.
And I want to go back to the importance of manifestation, okay? Because Tammy actually presented the manifestation in a positive light, saying that, thank you for all this abundance that you've given me. Thank you for giving me names before you have them. This kind of thing. That works in reverse too. Okay, so if you have it in your head that, oh my gosh, I'm going to walk outside and I'm going to get hit by a car, bad things are going to happen to you.
Look out. That's right. Look out. That's right. Or with mediums who say, okay, well, I'll give it a try, or
but I'm probably going to fail.
I haven't been getting it very much lately. It's like, she doesn't want it very much. Okay. We'll make that happen. Okay. That's your order. You put your order in, and that's what they're going to deliver.
Exactly. So be careful, when you're out there, and what the intention is that you're putting out there into the universe. Because if you ask for good things to happen, good things will happen. But if you put hate out into the universe, that's what's going to come back to you. So,
the boomerang.
Yeah.
So true.
All right. Okay. Great job, Rene. Are you feeling it, Tammy?
Yeah, I did have a man here. I'll check to see if I still do. What's so funny is at one point I thought, oh, am I double linking with Rene? But I don't think so, because he seems very different. Let me just take a little water here. Let me just tune back into him. Give me 1 second here. Okay, very friendly man. Very, very friendly. He's a real character, is what I want to say, and a character in that he almost looks like he came out of a detective. He stepped out of a detective novel or something. And I'm feeling very much that he's for you, Carol. And the thing about him is and the reason I thought for a moment maybe I was double linking with Rene is that he did show me he has a mustache. And I feel that he dressed very conservatively and, nicely, but it feels more like it would be like he'd be in a tweed, like tweeds, and from a while back. So I do feel that, and I would say also that he keeps showing me very clearly that he keeps looking for something. So he's opening like a jacket that would be like a trench coat, which is what was making me think, are we, did you just step out of a detective novel? But he's kind of opening it and he's like looking in these pockets and he's feeling here and there. So I feel like he's somebody who lost things a lot and was, kind of Um, befuddled is the word that's coming to me, but I don't feel like he's befuddled as much as preoccupied. I feel like he's in his mind a lot. The name, speaking of names, that I felt with him was Hugh. Do you know a Hugh in spirit?
I know two Hughs.
Okay, in spirit.
I know two Hughs in spirit. Yes.
Okay,
Wow. Good.
okay. So Hugh, this Hugh, would the Hugh that you would that help separate the two Hughs? The one that would be kind of he would be losing things. Like he's like, oh, where did I just put that? Because his mind is kind of somewhere else, but also he just kind of dresses in a he dresses nicely. Like you would see him more conservative, like probably with a tie, like that just that his way of dressing would be more um less casual.
Yeah, I understand that. Mhm.
Okay. Um I understand from him that he would have been very oh gosh, what is that word? It's giving, but that's not the word I want to use. And because I can't get the word for a second, it's a very simple word. For example, if you went to lunch or something like that, he would quickly take the bill. I'll pay this. I'll get it.
I don't know, but I would like to hear more, if that's okay. I'll just give me what information you have.
Okay,
Great.
okay.
Thank you.
Because that's what he's showing me. He's showing me a um, a scene or it could be a memory of being, and I feel like it's an eating establishment of some type, and I feel that he just quickly reaches over and takes the bill, and that I'm going to take care of this,
So
and
sweet.
yes, and but however, he's very. This is interesting. He's actually though going over it with the waiter because it's like but I'm not sure this is correct. But so he wants to cover it, but he's also very detail oriented and
That is
par-
true.
parsimonious may come into um, is coming to me and that so I feel that he wants to pay for it, but he's also very careful about his finances, if that makes
Would be
sense.
true. Yeah, I know
Okay.
that to be a fact. Yes.
Okay, because he really wants to check because like he thinks maybe there's a mistake here in the bill and he does want to sort that out before. So um, I know that he likes going to the movies. We're now in a cinema and oh, and that's really interesting because I'm feeling with him, but it's kind of not fitting. So my human brain kind of goes, really? That somebody like that would like more action movies. I just somehow that doesn't fit for me, but that's what I'm feeling with him, that he would like
Hmm,
action movies. And it just really goes against all the other character that I feel about him so far.
okay.
Okay. I also understand that he worked with numbers because he's using, it looks like an old-fashioned like adding machine or something. So would you
Yeah.
understand him to
Mhm,
work with
I do.
numbers?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. And this is really nice too. I feel very much that um, it's funny. I, I feel very much that he liked to send flowers. Yet I'm looking and I'm not seeing I'm not feeling like a wife around him. Um, yeah, so far, and maybe that will, he'll make that more clearer to me. But I do know that he sent flowers. Like
Yeah.
that was a thing. Like he liked to send flowers. And it's interesting. I'm really, he's really trying to give me this sense of him around women, and I'm having trouble feeling it is what I want to say. Um, would you understand that he didn't have a female companion, a romantic companion?
No, he did.
He did. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I really can't. He's not really sharing that with me.
Okay.
So I'll move away from that because it's not something he wants to share so much. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Would you understand he had 3 children?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 2 girls and a boy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, interesting. Would you know the kids' names? Was one Kevin?
Kevin's in the family, but Kevin's not one of the kids.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Let me just see, make sure he doesn't want to talk about Kevin for a minute. Okay, yeah, he's not saying much more about Kevin, but the energy seems to be getting just a little bit weaker, so bear with me just a minute here. Okay, he is starting. He's saying that he felt that his life got kind of monotonous. Um, yeah,
Yes.
there just wasn't much excitement in his life, and and he says that was kind of depressing, really. But he says it in such a um, as an observer, and I'm understanding kind of like an observer of his looking back at his life from wherever he is. Um, and I do understand he did like to do things with his kids, and I'm understanding that they flew kites. I feel like they went out, and that was one of the things they did. They flew kites,
Yep.
together.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Um, that was a fun thing. I remember that too as a kid. It was really fun. Okay, thank you. Oh, that's a really lovely memory. Um, okay, so now he's bringing me to a place that it's by water. And I feel that his family, like him, and at least his kids, that they're sitting. It feels like they're sitting on a dock, and there's water underneath, and I
Mhm.
feel like they're eating like ice cream and the kids are kind of swinging how you swing, you swing your legs back and forth, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, and so we're there. There's not, I feel like there are a lot of people around, but not right around us. I feel like they're kind of in the distance. And it's a really simple moment. And it's one that really, it's interesting because it's such a simple moment. Yet there's something so sacred is the word that just came in about it because of the feeling of being together, you know, in this place over the water on this dock, eating some ice cream and just enjoying that time together. And there's emotion that's coming with that. And he's saying, keep track of everything you do because you'll want to remember it later. Remember the good times and the bad. Remember more of the good times, but you learn from the bad times. Kick your shoes off, walk in the sand, dip your toes in the water. Feel what it feels like to be alive. laugh together, sing together, even if you're off pitch. And most of all, laugh. My love to you. Was this a direct family relative? Because he felt like, I'm feeling now that is your father. But when I
It
first
was.
saw him, was he? Okay.
Oh,
When I first saw him, he felt like he was on the paternal side, but just a little further out, from direct family relative. But as I was going, I was feeling, Dad, this is your dad. This is your
oh,
dad.
oh,
Oh, Tammy, man, you
Yeah.
knocked my socks off with that one. That
wow,
was unbelievable. So,
wow.
I'll give you some feedback. Okay. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm actually
Lots of
going to go
hearts.
for, let's see, I'll go for rockets.
Wow, that's cool.
That was
Wow.
fabulous. And so first of all, okay, my dad's name was Hugh. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
and now we were talking about names early. Now, what are the odds? How many people have you even ever met a Hugh in your
Wow.
life? Okay,
Wow.
that is such
Yeah.
an uncommon name. Okay, and it was funny because he didn't actually use that name, but that was his given name. Okay, which
Okay.
Wow.
was unbelievable. Okay, and some of this information I didn't know, which was kind of funny, but you talked about him being well dressed. He had to be well dressed for, work and whatnot. He was very detailed, um, because he worked with numbers and he did love action movies. He was so into action movies. That
Okay.
was that was
Okay.
funny. Okay. Um, and then let's see. I want to go back. I want to talk later on about not sharing information about female company. Okay. But he did have
Okay.
3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. That's me and my sister and my brother. Okay. Kevin's our cousin. His life did become depressing later because he was disabled. But when he was younger, we flew kites and he was very, very active with us kids. And the sitting on the dock was like really important because that was like the first thing that we do. They bought cheesy little plastic fishing poles for us. Okay. And we wanted to fish, and so they would strap us up in life jackets and sit us on the edge of the docks. And we'd be there with, swinging our feet, just like you said, with those stupid little plastic fishing poles trying to catch fish.
Oh,
Okay. Excuse me. And you use the term, it was a sacred time. Okay.
oh,
And the one thing that was so interesting about that is that when you got into the message and you were talking about, keeping track of the good times and the bad times and this kind of thing, it seemed to me like when you go back and you look at this transcript of this afterwards, those words that you used did not seem to be words that you, Tammy Hunter, okay, Hunter Herman usually use. Okay. Those were my father's words.
Oh,
oh,
And you brought me to tears. That was
oh,
fabulous, Tammy. Just
oh,
oh,
absolutely beautiful. Okay.
oh,
And seriously, when this gets posted up to YouTube officially, go back and look and see, is this the kind of thing I'd say? Because I don't think it is, but that is very much the kind of thing and the phrasing that he would use. And that just brought so much meaning to me. So
oh,
I thank
so
you for that
glad.
because that was
Yeah.
fabulous. Okay. And now I don't even
oh,
know where to start with that because there was so much
Well,
about that reading to talk about.
I could add something to what we were talking about names.
Go ahead. Yes.
When that name came in, and this has happened before, when it's a name that is unusual like that, I'm much more sure that it's coming from spirit and not my head.
mhm,
I think, oh, that's an unusual name. That's not one that I would think of. It's not you
Mhm.
know, Don, Tim, John, Robert, it's
Mhm.
different and came out of nowhere. So then
wow,
I'm usually pretty sure that's that's a name, that's a relevant name. And so that just to add.
And that's a good point because a lot of beginning mediums would, if they heard that name, they would say that name can't be right because it's so unusual. And they want to go to that safe name, Bob, Don.
Statistically.
And
Yeah.
here you go, and this is what you do. Okay, the way you have to change your thinking, like Tammy is talking about, okay, to get a name like Hugh and have that name be correct is how you knock your readings out of the park, absolutely. So that was fabulous. I talked about the message because that was very meaningful, but the other thing I want to talk about is he is not sharing information about female company. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and obviously I had a mother, okay, and they were married, for life, okay, and they had a great marriage. But what I thought was interesting is obviously he was choosing to not talk about mom. Okay. And the reason is because I sent it out to the universe and I said, Dad, I want to hear from you. Come in and tell me about yourself.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow. Did
There
you
you
really?
go. Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, I did. Okay. And this is great the way that this is all coming together. Okay. But what I want to say, I thought was so neat is that you respected that too. When he said, when you said he's not giving me much information about female company. Okay. You said, okay, I'll respect that. I'm going to move on. Okay. And how many beginning mediums do you know? Like that would be making their heads explode because they've been trained. Well, you have to get, their name. Are they married? How many kids do they have? Blah, 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 like this. Okay. All right. And there's a list of information that they have to get. Okay.
Right.
According to the way they've been trained. Well, in this case, Spirit did not want to talk about the wife. Okay. And it was not because he didn't love her. Okay. They had a great
Yeah.
marriage, but I asked him to come in and focus on himself, and he did. Okay.
You know what's really interesting about that is I almost felt like when you say that, it makes me think, wow, that was really an interesting experience because I felt as though pulled in the direction of like like a woman, and then that we're not going to talk about. It was like, okay, then why did you pull me in that direction? But it was almost like pulling me there to let me know that we're not talking about it. So that almost makes it even more,
Makes more sense.
it
yeah.
makes more sense.
Makes
You
more
know,
sense. Yes.
yeah, that he was making an extra statement for you that we are not good, and I'm going to even pull her in that direction and then not tell her.
Mom's there, but we're not talking about her.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, that was really really fabulous, But I'm gonna to just go back on this thing about let's talk some more about like setting that intention. Like Rene, have you ever had that come up in a reading where like somebody has asked, you've done a reading for somebody and here's a favorite trick of people, like they go in to the reading and they make arrangements with their spirit to say something like, give me an unusual word like eggplant or something like that. Okay. And the sitter is expecting to hear that word come up in the reading. Has that ever happened to you, Rene?
Actually, yes, it has.
Can you tell us about it?
I'm trying to think in particular. Well, a recent one, I usually put forth the intention to work with somebody that needs to hear from a loved one. And if they can give me some kind of sign that they would understand and a message that would touch their heart and be understanding and healing to them. So recently I did a psychic fair and I had a lady send me a text and said, you told me, well, you brought in my brother-in-law and you told me he was trying to contact me by blinking lights. And I was very, very close to my brother-in-law, and I did see lights from time to time. But recently I made a trip down to his home to see his son, And when I was telling him about the reading, the light started flickering like crazy. And I said to him, she said his name and said, "Is this you?" And the lights went out and the lights came back on.
Oh
And
my
she's
God.
like,
So
"Oh, I
awesome.
was just amazed." She said, "You told me that." And I was like, I was so thrilled to tell him, and he was right there listening. So
Yeah.
that was exciting.
Okay. Yeah. And so in that case, like the sitter kind of asked for some sort of definitive proof.
Yes.
Okay, an undefined definitive proof that they wanted to make sure that that spirit was who it was, and
Yes.
sure enough, there it happened.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you, Tammy, in a reading where you,
I can tell you in the
other
last
than
year,
me? So,
yep, in the last year, I had a client reading, and I was so surprised because afterward she said, I asked, and she was science. She said, "I'm a scientist." I'm so she was very a terrific, client in that, she was very positive, and but because of being doubtful, she gave her ahead of time. She asked for the two people in the spirit world she wanted to hear from for two code words. One was apple and one was flowers.
okay.
And in the reading, I had no idea why. And I said, "Oh gosh, they've just got this big bouquet of flowers for you." And she even played it up. She said, "Oh, do you know why?" And I said, "They said you know."
Ooh.
You know why? I said, "I don't
Uh,
know." They said, "You know why?" And then I said, and then it was kind of spread out a little bit. And then I said, "I've just got this enormous apple they're showing me that was so huge." So for her, that was it. That for her,
Wow.
that made her her belief very positive. And
Wow.
she's a believer now because she's out with those two. But I loved it when they said, "You know why?" Because
Wow.
as I'm saying it, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh, for me, that sounds like a cop out, you know?" As the medium, you're like, "Oh, well, they said, you know why?" Like that's kind of a cop out for the medium. But in fact, she did know why.
She
That's what
did
she
know
asked
why.
for.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
so
that was
funny.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I
How
had that
about you,
happen.
Carol? Yeah.
Well, I had it happen in a reading once where, and this was like, I agree, sometimes it's so hard to actually say the things that are coming in because you think they're off the wall. But, you know, I heard this guy say, "Tell her she's my little piggy." Okay. Now, really, do you want to say that?
Not
Okay.
really, no.
No, you don't. Okay. But
Don't shoot
I,
the messenger.
yes, exactly. Okay. And I kept on going back and I'm saying, "I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that." Okay. And then finally, like after working with this woman, I could see that she had like a decent sense of humor. And I said, I apologized in advance and I said, "I'm really sorry, but I said, what he wants me to say is tell her, she's my little piggy." And she hit the floor. Okay, because he used to call her his little piggy all the time. you know, and I did not want to say that,
Oh
but
my gosh.
but there you go, and I mean, and
Wow.
it meant so much to her, because that was his nickname for her, was his little pig, his term of endearment.
Oh my
She wanted
gosh.
to hear that so bad, and it came in, and I really struggled with that, but
I'll tell you, that is true trust. That's that you can't give a better example of trusting the spirit world.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was
Oh,
funny
oh
though.
my
All
gosh.
right. Well, we've had two great readings, and I have to follow them now. And oh my gosh, I did. That's going to be so hard. But
You will do awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, I will. The spirit has my back, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm thinking I might want to try to work off a name today. So, does
Okay.
anybody have a name they want to give me?
I
That
do. Mary.
all right, give me a name, and let's see who I
How
can
about
come up with.
Mary?
Mary, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have more than one Mary in spirit?
No.
No, just one Mary.
Well, to be specific, we'll do Mary Isabelle.
Mary Isabelle. Okay,
Yeah.
Mary Isabelle. Is Mary Isabelle Catholic?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the reason that I ask is there's a woman coming in here with a veil over her head and a rosary. Okay.
Yes.
So,
yes.
all right. Okay, let me lean into her. I would say Mary Isabelle has not had an easy life. Would you understand that about her?
Yes. Totally agree.
And do you know, this is funny. Because like the first thing that I want to do is like when people, I feel a lot of trauma with this woman. And then the second thing where my brain goes to is how did you deal with that trauma? Okay. And I don't feel like she abused alcohol or anything like
No,
that, which
she did
you
not.
did. Okay. Wow.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'm going to ask the question, how did she manage this trauma? Because I want to know. I'm a nosy medium. So. Would you be aware that she prayed every morning?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. And would you know that she prayed to Jesus to give her one ray of sunshine that day?
Probably.
Okay. All right. What she's telling me is that because I'm asking her how I feel this trauma, I'm asking her how she dealt with it. And she said that she got down on her knees and she prayed to Jesus to give her one ray of sunshine every morning. And her bargain with Jesus, she is telling me, is that if he would give her that one ray of sunshine, that she would know that there was hope for the future. Would you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand why she was saying that.
Okay. She's telling me that a lot of times, like her actions became mechanical. I don't know why she's telling me this. Okay, mechanical and automatic. Okay, so her hands would do one thing, but her head was in another place. Would you know that?
Yes, I would understand that. Yeah.
Okay. And Jay, when she does this, she's actually shown me kneading bread.
Yeah, she did make bread
talking
too.
about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm asking her if she had the opportunity to get out of this, or make her life better. And she's telling me no, she did not. She didn't have the opportunity to really change things. I feel like she has kind of like a mentality, like almost like my mother, where my mother was raised in the Great Depression, and they could stretch a loaf of bread for 2 weeks.
Right.
You know what I mean? She knew how to stretch food. Okay. She's showing me this little, it's almost looks like a porcelain heart with, but it's small. Okay. A small porcelain heart painted with roses. Would you understand this?
I understand the heart. That I would have to think about, but I knew there was a heart that was definitely
Okay. All right.
significant to her.
Yeah, it's just this little, it's a little piece of jewelry, a little little heart, porcelain
Mhm.
heart. Okay. And she's saying in spite of all these troubles, okay, she said she held her head high.
Yes, she did.
Okay. She held her head high. She's saying that nobody was going to tell her that she was worth less because she didn't have as much.
Mhm.
Okay. So she has a great deal of pride, which is pretty amazing. This is family for you?
Yep. Mhm.
Family. Okay, all right. Let's Lena, mom's side, right?
Mom.
Mom's side of
Yep.
the family. Okay, all right. Let me and then do a bit more. No, mom. This is mom.
Yep.
Mom.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So she's talking about you in particular, and you look to me to be like an age of like 13 or 14 or somewhere in this range. Okay. Um, and did you like either run away from home or like disappear and not come back when you were supposed to? Is that
Yeah.
ringing a bell? This is ringing a bell. Okay. All right. So she's talking about
Yeah.
this incident. Hold on. She's so when that happened, okay, she she wants you to know first of all that she was traumatized. And this is the word that she's using, trauma. Okay. All right. Not that she's dumping stuff on you because there's a not she doesn't want to dump guilt on you. Okay, but what she's telling it's part of this story, okay, that I'm going to go into, but she's saying that when you disappeared like that, she was traumatized, okay, and there's somebody out here. I got to figure out who this woman is, okay. Um, there's another woman here who is telling her that she would have been better off without you, okay. So I know, yes, okay. So this is what, and this is, so she is telling you that when this incident happened, she was complaining to this woman that you disappeared, and this woman said to her, that she would have been better off without you. Now I want to see where she wants to go with that. And she's kind of philosophical about it. She says that I know we had our differences during, that time. Okay. But she said in reality, she said, I relied on you so
She did.
much. Okay. She said, I relied on you. And she said, she's going back to this woman. She said, I almost punched her when she said, when she said this. Okay. I you have any idea who this woman is? I want to see who see if I can find out. Is there a somebody named Jean around her that you know? Jean or Jane, I think. Jean or Jane.
Not that I can think of offhand.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set that to this side then. All right. Let's see what else she wants to say here. So she's talking about you right now. Okay. And um she's talking about like fractures in the family. And it's interesting she uses the word fractures in the family. Okay. And where's she going with this? So she's saying that this is kind of like the way that we were, okay, you and she were at that point in time in your life where you were butting heads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. And she's saying that you're doing this right now with other people in the family. You're butting heads. Okay. All right. But what she wants you to do is, she's reminding you, okay, that for you two, it was like a phase. Okay. It was like a phase, and what that head butting and what brought you back together, you two, was the love that you have for each other. Okay. And her message for you is to not get hung up about the fact that, like, you're butting heads with some family members right now.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
said, don't worry about it. You wait and see. The love is going to bring you back together.
Oh,
Okay. And I'm going to leave you that with light and love. Thanks for letting me serve spirit.
wow. That was amazing, Carol.
Oh, thank you.
That- You did
Thank you.
good. That was my mom.
Oh, no, thank you.
And
Okay.
she did have a very, very hard life. She,
Okay.
I was a toddler. She was pregnant with my brother, and she had three other children. Um, and they were on a family vacation, and two of the children drowned trying to save each other.
Ugh.
She was devastated. Um, my my father just totally lost it. I mean, he stayed with my mom, and they had three more children after that, but he ended up leaving her with seven children to raise by herself as a single mom. She prayed every day. And then my brother was having difficulty in school, and he decided, what do I need this for? I'm going to war. I'm signing up for Vietnam. And she was devastated. So he goes off to war, and she wrote him every single day. She prayed before she went to bed at night, and she prayed in the morning. She would literally get up and kneel down next to her bed and pray for him that
On
he
her
would come
knees.
home safe to her, you
On
know.
her knees.
And the incident when I was like 13, my mom went through this deep depression, and she just screamed at me all the time. So to get away from her, I said, I'm leaving, you know. So
You
I
ran
would
away
go,
from home? You did?
when I was leaving, I was just going for a walk to get away from her screaming and yelling.
Okay.
So the one time when I did it, I just went out back, and I was sitting on the railroad ties behind the house, and a car came up, and he's like, "Are you Rainy Bird?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Get in." And I'm like, "I'm not getting in. I don't know you." He's like, "Get in. Your mother reported you missing." I'm like, "How do you report me missing? That's my house right there. I'm sitting right here." He's like, "Get in." So I got in. I'm like, "You're embarrassing me. All my friends are going to see me." And he goes, "Well, you can't run away from home." I'm like, "Sir, I'm not running away from home. I'm trying to get away from my mom because she's being mean and she's screaming and yelling. So I'm just trying to get away." And I was just out back. And he says, "Well, just try to get along with your mom." So he rode me around the block a couple times and dropped me off at home. I was like so mad at her, so embarrassed. Friends were like, "Well, we don't want to talk about it."
Oh my gosh.
But she was all about rosaries and all about praying, and as much as we did during that time, we came back around. I mean, I did everything because I was the oldest girl. So I was in charge of everybody in the house whenever
There
she
you
was
go.
at work to make
That's why
them
she
do.
relied on you then.
Yeah, she had to
Okay.
rely on me to cook for them and make sure they did their chores and everybody
Yeah.
was home from school safe. And, she'd call and check in to make sure I was
So
taking
you
care
were
of
a
it.
mom at 13 without trying to be a mom. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's hard.
That was awesome. And that's hopefully spot on for the message, because
Okay.
there are family members that are just button heads and I can't figure it out. I've tried, and you know,
Okay.
it is what it is.
Well, let's put it out to the universe. Why don't we?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's say,
definitely.
because that's what we've been talking about today,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
putting stuff out to the universe. So
yeah,
let's put it out to the universe that, you know, yes, okay, it is going to happen. All
yeah.
right. And, the love will override everything, and,
Yes, it will. Yes, it
and then
will.
we'll see what happens when, and we'll put notes, in under this
Yeah,
video,
thanks, Mama.
let you know what happens.
Awesome,
So,
awesome.
all right. Well, wonderful, guys. Another great day here. Fun time reading. I'm going to go ahead and shut us down with a prayer. But before we do, I just want to remind our YouTube audience that we're live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. If you want to be notified of our upcoming live streams, please hit like and subscribe, and you'll be notified of them before they happen. But I'm going to go ahead, shut us down with a prayer. If everyone would join me, please. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Thank you for this gift of mediumship that you've given us, and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you have given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always, please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen.
Oh,
All
man.
right. Thank you. And we
See
hope
you
to see
guys.
you next week. All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye to all the moms.